Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Taylor Jones, and I have one question to ask you. Do you have any, and I mean any, idea what time it is? If not, let me welcome you to Season 5 of Cold Man's Winter. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is yours truly, Taylor Jones, and I say welcome back to my YouTube channel, the TC Jones Edits, as well as saying welcome back to my series, Cold Man's Winter. I know it's been a long time actually a minute, because I did an episode last week or something like that, and I want y'all to know that the link for the last episode will be in the description bar down below, as well as my Black History video when I did a revised version of a poem that I read a couple years ago. So it was the revised version of Smokey Robinson's "I Love Being Black" that he did from Def Comedy Jam. So for episode 5 of Cold Man's Winter, season 5, as in $5 foot long. What do I want to talk about? Well, since it's February, it's best to talk about Black history. So, what is Black history in the year 2024? When you think of Black history, look, it's obvious, it's nothing new. But sometimes there are some things about Black history that you never heard about or known until this day. Like, for instance, Augustus Jackson, an African American, was well known for inventing ice cream. Garrett Morgan created the traffic lights and a gas mask. Madam C.J. Walker, the hot comb. Lonnie Johnson, known for creating the Super Soaker. What else? Yeah, Elijah McCoy, the cotton gin or something like that. George Washington Carver, peanut butter. It's just the way of the world. But this is more than inventions. We also have thought of some important things in the entertainment world. Berry Gordy and Smokey Robinson, they came together and they created the iconic African American music industry that just turned 65 this year. For those that don't know who I'm referring to, the M, the O, the T, the O, the W, the N. Motown. Happy 65 years to Motown Records. Smokey Robinson and Berry Gordy, they came together. They made an iconic record label that stood out, because this is more than a Hitsville, USA thing. It's more than Detroit. And it was even more than Motown Philly with Boyz II Men, because Motown is an everyday thing. Also, if we talking about Motown, we talking about real life industries. I mean, real life individuals who made it big in the African American culture. The late Earl Lloyd being the first black man to play in the NBA. Jackie Robinson. Everybody still love what he did. From playing the Negro Leagues to playing professional baseball, referring to being a Brooklyn Dodger. And nobody wore the number 42. Nobody after Jackie Robinson. But they actually did, for one good reason, to honor Jackie Robinson's legacy. A black man to overcross the barriers of colored baseball to make it well known. I mean, from Jackie Robinson to Satchel Paige, the Hammering Hank Aaron, in which MC Hammer got his rap name from the iconic Hank Aaron, Hammering Hank. It's crazy. And it's the same thing like the Rolling Stones got their name from Muddy Waters. Muddy Waters. And also in baseball history, we can't forget about Willie Mays. We can't forget about him. Also, the only thing that everybody's still praising over is some praise over the fact that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. Others still believe that Michael, like the OG, the greatest of all times. But nobody talks about Bill. It's kind of like a big pimp slap, because how come nobody pays attention to Bill Russell? He's the OG, the real OG in basketball. When you think about basketball, you think about Michael Jordan. And nowadays, you think about LeBron James. But what about Wilt Chamberlain? Now, Bill Russell, he's the OG when it came to having 11 NBA titles with one team, the Boston Celtics. From 1956 to 1969. And he paved the way for NBA, and all around the NBA, his jersey number has been retired after his passing. After passing away in 2022, NBA decided to retire the number 6 all around, because everybody was pleased. Everybody should be very pleased of how far one African American man paved the way. 11 titles to being reminisced. Number 6, forever number 6, Bill Russell. But what about Jim Brown? From athlete to black exploitation actor to being part of the Civil Rights Monument. Same as John Harris, Harry Belafonte. Need I say more? Like rappers from Master P to David Banner to Killer Mike. But, it's funny. A lot of people be talking about Killer Mike's arrest that took place after winning 3 Grammys, but I rather think about the good instead of the bad. Some people believe that the white man is still putting all black folks down. If that's how they want to play the game, let them. Because in the end, the people who want to put us down, they going to have to realize that it comes back to haunt them. Some believe in karma, but most of us believe in Jesus. But what does that got to do with black history? God let us through. I come to terms, I thought about last year when I did covers because of black history. I thought about Paris. It ain't the same as the days of old. And it never been the same. Rappers talk about the good old days and how it turned out right now. It ain't the same. Black women want to call each other queens. But do they really know what it's like to be a queen? Do we black men know what it's like to be a king? Being a king and queen is a tough job. But somebody's gotta do it. My king and queen are my parents. My grandfather is part of black history. He's a preacher. Charles Taylor, preacher. 37 years. And he's still still moving forward. Even when folks disagreed with him, he kept going because there's no way that he is going to fall apart over criticism. I mean, if we were 100% black, we would not be criticizing each other in a negative way. We would not offend each other. It's like we got to be careful. And since I talked about my granddaddy, I thought about the Vacation Bible School songs that we taught little individuals, little children, and young individuals around the neighborhood. In the style of, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. There was another song called Be Careful Little Eyes What You See. Be careful little ears what you hear. Be careful little mouth what you say. Be careful little hands what you do, and be careful little feet where you go. There's a Father up above and he's looking down at love. But this is more than the five senses. This is more than a little warning like beware, a wake-up call. Because every day, a lot of black individuals, they see their friends, their family members, or themselves caught up in the wrong situations, the wrong crowd. It's like a party. Life is like a party. But Prince and the Revolution would tell you themselves, life is like a party, and parties aren't meant to last because we only live once. YOLO. You only live once. So live right. Live like a proud African American, or a black woman, a black man, a black child. I thought of A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. I thought of X-Clan. I thought of Public Enemy, Poor Righteous Teachers, Brand Nubian, before they got down with the gangster music. And just realize that everything we say and do will come back and haunt us, but at the same time, there will be a reward. I thought of, like earlier I did mention Paris, but I also thought about Tevin Campbell when he and Prince reunited 2 years after Just Ask Me To from the Boys in the Hood movie, but the first time they met was back in 1990 when they did Graffiti Bridge together. Back when Tevin went round and round and round. And they sung Everybody Wants to Find Graffiti Bridge together as well. But for Tevin Campbell and Prince to come up with a powerful song, Uncle Sam, which I covered last year, it's like, who is Uncle Sam? Why must he always make it hard for us? Because, as Tevin said in the chorus, I'm your nephew. Oh, I'm your nephew. Yes, it's true. Can you hear me, Uncle Sam? Can I sit upon your bended knee, just like the other men? Didn't I die in Vietnam? Didn't I walk through Birmingham? Walking hand in hand through Birmingham, Alabama, with Martin Luther King. That's what he was referring to, as well as the War of Vietnam. The War of Vietnam, as Forrest Gump would say. I'm your nephew. Yes, it's true. Can you hear me, Uncle Sam? Didn't I sell the water against my every will? The slaves from Africans sent to America in slave ships to be sold and auctioned. 400 years. And come to think of it, it was crazy how the late Paul Mooney will reflect on that in his comic stand-ups when he said, we were forced to come here and work for free. I mean free. Now, line the word free and how long it took. 400 stinking years. And if black people want to sit on their butts, so be it. But back to Tevin Campbell. Didn't I die in Vietnam? Didn't I walk through Birmingham? I'm your nephew. Yes, it's true. Can you hear me, Uncle Sam? Didn't I sell the waters against my every will? Didn't I fetch the water when your bucket needed a refill? Where was all the water when the fire was burning up the cross? The Ku Klux Klan days. Burnt crosses, nooses, go back to Africa. A lot of people, they hated to see what we were up to because they claimed that our race would lead to nothing but trouble. But what they did not know is that we didn't want to start trouble. We didn't start the fire according to Billy Joel, but this is African American history, black history. We didn't start the fire. We didn't start fighting until one of our brothers and sisters got hurt and or killed and are locked up for no apparent reason because bigotry has caused us to feel threatened, feel forbidden. I was in this situation myself, but I gotta learn how to accept the fact that I only live once and I don't want to end up dead or locked up over racism. How can you cope with that? How can we black men and women and kids from 3 years old when we start preschool to 5 years old when we go to elementary, 10 going on 11 starting middle school or junior high, as some of y'all would say, 14 starting senior high or high school, to being fresh out of high school at age 17 or 18, heading to college, graduating in 21 years old. But for some, or for others, it takes more than just going to college. Some go to couple colleges, one or to another. It's like others want to go to college for like more than one, but you can't go to the same college. You got to move on. Community college, 2 years, associates. University, bachelor's. And I got my bachelor's, and it's been 3 years. When I got my bachelor's, it was kind of like a Christmas gift because I graduated in the fall. I did so much better in the University of Memphis than I did at Jackson State because I took my classes seriously. Even though I was slacking, I remember what it was like to get a 0 for one of my assignments, but I kept going because time waits for no man. Time is not my friend. That's all I ever said. But there's another time that really matters the most. The time is ticking. We all have an hourglass. Because when the last pillar of salt, brothers and sisters, fall, we all die. Hourglasses. I mean, think about it. Who would have thought that self-hate would get us to war to the biggest, baddest level? Malcolm X got killed by some of the individuals from the NOI. And if you saw the Denzel Washington biopic of Malcolm X, Giancarlo Esposito was one of the gunmen. And because of that, he got shot in the buttocks. Angela Bassett cried in fear. Denzel Washington, Malcolm X's glass, I mean, his he got shot. His glasses was taken off of his face. It's kind of like the same thing that happened. Because in one picture, one of the newspaper pictures, Malcolm X was carried on a stretcher. Glasses off his face. Looking like that. He got killed in broad daylight. Doing a speech. People hate. Self-hate. That's what ruined Black history. Self-hate. And it's not just Malcolm X. It happened as well when it came to Tyree Nichols. Last year, Memphis. The same city where I graduated college from. 2 years after graduating from the University of Memphis, but earlier in the year 2023, it just started. A 29-year-old black man, Tyree Nichols, was pulled over. 5 police officers beat him up and then probably killed him. They all were tried. But sometimes people take the situation like they think it was a good thing that they got fired and arrested. But sometimes there's a lot of people that disagree and they want to flame you, as in get on you for thinking that way. I remember what it was like when that happened. One guy had the nerve to talk to me, respond, but it was on Facebook. So we gotta be careful on what you put on Facebook, because a lot of people, they are going to go against what you say. And if that's how that feels, and if this is how it feels like to be humiliated, trying to be black, come on. Self-hate is gonna get you nowhere but your own demise. I would probably say the same thing for all the Bloods and Crips that actually ended up shooting, killing each other. First up, it was like a couple kids got beat up to death since the 60s. 69, Stanley Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington, they created the Crips. But after 2 years of dealing with the Crips' violent outbursts, 1971, the Bloods were born. But the Crips were actually called Cribs. Cribs. But then they switched the B's to P's. Because at first they were called the Cripples, because they always walked with a cane. And they shortened the Cripples to the Crips. I mean, back then, those two gangs used to fight over a black or brown leather jacket, any type of leather jacket, any color. But then all of a sudden, from fist fights to using bricks to knives to semi-automatic rifles, machine guns, pistols, to selling drugs, to dealing with a lot of shenanigans, hatred, self-hate, followed by a war against police. If the police came along when it came to NWA, that was a powerful move. But Ice Cube was the one that wrote the song. Ice Cube, Ren, and Easy rapped on it. Dr. Dre, he did the ad-lib, as in the judge. He played the judge. Controversy comes. Meanwhile, in Miami, Uncle Luke, Luther Campbell, he was the first MC, which caused, well, according to his interview with DJ Vlad, he said he was the one responsible, the one MC responsible for the infamous, yet iconic, parental advisory logo. Explicit lyrics, but then it changed the content. Him and the 2 Live Crew to be the first rap act to have a parental advisory logo on their albums because of how vulgar it was, their music were. Who would have thought that Heavy D was the one who actually put Jodeci on the map, MCA Uptown Records brand. The late Andre Harrell, from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, known for Fast Life, to break up. I mean, the group broke up after a short stint of rap history. A rapper turned into the mastermind of Uptown Records. Who would have thought? But after 10 years, of being the head supreme of Uptown, he left and was a head supreme for Motown. But Heavy D, he had to take over Uptown. But in 1999, the A&R thing, the head A&R thing of Uptown, that job didn't work out. Uptown is dead. Heavy D, God rest your soul. Andre Harrell, God rest your soul. Uptown Records, R.I.P. Meanwhile, Puffy, of course, he's public enemy number 1 according to social media, but who would have thought that he had to start working with Andre Harrell at Uptown? Who would have thought that after he got fired, he moved on and did his own thing, a bad boy thing? Andre Harrell made Uptown. Sean Puffy Combs made Bad Boy. Kenneth Edmonds, aka Babyface, along with Antonio L.A. Reid, they created LaFace Records. Jermaine Dupri, Malden, he made So So Def. Russell Simmons, was he responsible for Def Jam? If so, then he's not alone, because he had a partner by the name of Rick Rubin that helped create Def Jam Records. But we're talking about Black history here. Why am I going over the board? Because Black history is all around the world, from Nigeria to Africa to Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. From Atwood to Bolivar to Chattanooga to Dyersburg. This is more than a Tennessee thing. This is a all around the world thing. When you think of Black history, you think of some random cities. You think of ATL, LaFace Records, the new Motown of the South, from 1990 to 2011. From Atlanta to Brooklyn. Jay-Z, Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, J. Rue the Damager, O.C., Chubb Rock, Black Moon.
Chicago, home of the Bulls, where Michael Jordan made an impact. Detroit, home of Motown, home of the Bad Boys, the Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, before Dennis became a blonde. Number 10. Evanston. I mean, we don't even know. We hardly hear a city that starts with the letter E, period. Because what city do you know that was talked about all the time that started with the letter E? What about F? You can hardly hear a city that everybody talks about that starts with the letter F. All you think about is the state, Florida. But G, Gary, Indiana, home of the Jacksons, 2300 Jackson Street. Michael Jackson, God rest his soul. Jackie Tito, Marlon, the whole Jackson family. Houston, home of the chopped and screwed music. But DJ Screw was not the first one to do it. There was somebody else did it, but DJ Screw put it in light. Being making albums, mixtapes, all the songs are slowed down, and even if he had to chop up the songs, that's what chopped and screwed means. Screw to slow down. Chop to 1, 2, what you gonna do? I said 1, 1, 2, what you gonna 1, 1, 2, what you gonna do? Know what I'm saying? Finna go down, man. And recently, the Screwed Up Clique lost another soldier by the name of Big Pokey. Well known for Sitting Sideways, 4s in the day, from June 27th to Sitting Sideways with Paul Wall. And that song is almost 20 years old. Houston, we have a problem. Passing of another rap legend. We died from a lot, from violence to lean, overdoses, drug overdoses, suicide, car accidents, health issues. But then we move on to I. What city that we know that starts with the letter I besides Indianapolis, Indiana? What's up with Indianapolis? I don't know. But Jackson, Mississippi. Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. What we do in Mississippi, M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback, I. That's our business. J, Jackson, K, Kansas City. Kansas City. Lansing or Little Rock, Arkansas. The Little Rock Nine, Ernest Johnson. A Disney biopic was that starred Morris Chestnut to play Ernest Johnson, the oldest out of the Little Rock Nine, to graduate from high school during segregation. M. You think about Montgomery, Alabama, or you can think about Memphis, where Martin Luther King got shot. But the day before that happened, the night before, I've seen the mountaintop. Just know, brothers and sisters, I may not go with you, But I know we'll all be free. We'll all be there. We'll all get there. Man, time to think about it. What is it like to see the mountaintop and known that you might not join them? Who would have thought that Martin Luther King, after he got stabbed by a woman that was like, I don't know how to call this woman, what to call a woman that stabbed Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King admitted that he couldn't sneeze. If he sneezed, he would have died, but he made it this far until the day he got shot. April 4th, 1968. 46 years. No, 56 when April the 4th hit. 4/4/24, 56 years. What were you doing 56 years ago? For all the individuals that lived through April the 4th, 1968, what did y'all do? How old were you? Think about it. In New York City, New Orleans, the Black Pearl, formerly known as Negro Town, and who would have thought that we had a black African American woman to play professional, like to be part of the NBA, when at the time a woman playing professional, but it was shortly noticed. But the woman that made it happen, God rest her soul. Just like New York, what happened in New York for Black history? The Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s. Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, to having Walt Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed and Earl of Pearl Monroe to be the supreme champions of the NBA in 1970. The New York Knicks. To win their first NBA title. And another one a few years later, between 73 to 76. Between those years. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. Then we go to O. What's so great about, what city do we all know that starts with the letter O? Oakland. As DJ Quick would say, Oakland is just like Compton. But what's so great about Oakland is because it's where Tupac was from, Too Short was from, and the so-called powerful group called the Black Panthers. When you think of the Black Panthers, you could think of men and women rocking afros, beret hats, black leather jackets, with or without gloves, right fist clenched, power to the people. Power to the people. Bobby Seale, Huey Newton, Fred Hampton, Shaka Khan. She wanted to be down with the Black Panthers. Everybody's dressed up as Black Panthers. Angela Davis. Do I need to go on talking about the revolution? No. But But then again, the revolution is here to stay. Right on. Power to the people. Dressed in all black. Black is my shades, my lokes. And I've been rocking lokes for 8 years. No, 7 years. 7 years bad luck. The good things in the past. Stevie Wonder. But if you believe in things that you don't understand, then you will suffer. Because superstitions ain't the way. P. Philadelphia. The city of brotherly love, where we have the Philadelphia groove, Philly groove, the sound, the Philadelphia International. You can think of Boys to Men. You can think of Will Smith back when he was the Fresh Prince, along with his partner in crime, DJ Jazzy Jeff, who always get thrown out by Uncle Phil. But this ain't Bel Air. I'm talking about Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. Back when they brought you Parents Just Don't Understand, Girls in the World Are Nothing But Trouble. You know, just radio friendly. Followed by rappers like Freeway and Beanie Siegel. All the way to soulful musicians such as Musiq Soulchild. And a talented orchestrated band called The Roots. God rest Hub Soul. God rest Malik B. I mean, from Boys to Men to Will Smith, back even when he was with Jazzy Jeff solo and with Jazzy Jeff as a band, to Musiq Soulchild, The Roots, Freeway, Beanie Siegel, all the Philadelphia Soldiers and the 76ers, in which Wilt Chamberlain, the Big Dipper, won a championship with him, as well as Dr. J, Julius Erving, the late Moses Malone, and there was another champion that played with Jerry, Julius, and Moses, but he died a couple days ago. God rest his soul. I mean, Philadelphia, they took a lot of loss, but we have to move on. What city starts with the letter Q? Queensbridge. I dedicate this to all the MCs out of Queens. That goes for Onyx LL, Run DMC, Akinyele, Nasty Nas, and the Extra P. And of course, A Tribe Called Quest. When you think of Queens, and you can't forget about Mobb Deep. Five Dog said this in 1993. You can't forget about Queens. You can't. R. Richmond. Whether in Virginia or in California. When you think of the city Richmond, you think of the Coach Carter movie. Rich what? Richmond. Rich what? Richmond. Where we from? Richmond. What's my hometown? Richmond. Who we love? Richmond. Rich what? Richmond. The Richmond Oilers from Coach Carter, based on a true story. Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Richard, Channing Tatum, Rob Brown, Ashanti, Adrian Bailon, Octavia Spencer, Antoine Tanner. The real double crossers in the basketball movie. Every time you see a movie that Paramount released in association with MTV Films, you know it has to be for real. It's gotta be for real. The feeling is so real. Coach Carter had the same feeling as Save the Last Dance. Speaking of Save the Last Dance, a city that starts with the letter S that everybody knows about. We heard about South Central, but now it's known as South LA, South Los Angeles. Like I said once before in my old YouTube videos, I believe I did bring it up in one of my old Cold Man's Winter episodes. You can take the word Central out of the city's name, but you can't take the word Central as in South Central LA out of my mouth. And even if you had to write down where you're from, all you have to do is put the word Central in parentheses as in the former name of the city. South Central. South Central Madness. It always comes to play. South Central Cartel. Rap group. Known for having a couple members with the name Havoc and Prodigy. Not to mix up with the infamous Mobb Deep. But that group also had one main person on the main line. The singer by the name of LV, who made it big and won a Grammy along with Coolio when they did Gangsta's Paradise. LV, a Grammy winner for Gangsta's Paradise with Coolio. Crazy, but true. South Central. The LA riots of 1992. I mean, a lot of things happen. But city, Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton makes, the city takes. Poor Righteous Teachers. Rappers like, well, even though Redman is from New Jersey, he's from Newark. I'm talking about Trenton. What's so great about Trenton? What's so great about Urbana, Illinois, on the other side of Champaign, my home state, Illinois. That's where we had the Fighting Illini before they were renamed the Kingfishers because of the Redman / Native American controversies. We had legends like Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson. It's crazy. Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson, and the Fighting Illini. They made it this far, but they couldn't win the big one. Dee Brown, Luther Head, Augustine was white. Dang, I'm sorry. But you get the point. Shout out to all the African Americans that played at the University of Illinois. And I can't even forget about Deron Williams. Can't forget about him. But then Virginia Beach. What goes down in Virginia Beach, it stays down for the black individuals, the black neighborhoods. Waco, Texas, where they brought you High Five, which became the first ever quintet signed to Jive Records. The first band, 5-man band to be signed to Jive Records to go multi-platinum, but their album just went gold. Even though the band been through a lot of tragedies. So God rest Tony Thompson, the lead singer, and Roderick Poole Clark, one of the original members, who ended up out of the band after being injured from a car accident in which all of the members were in. But Roderick Poole Clark was the one that said, "I can't feel my legs," and it hurts. A lot of tragedies for the group High Five, and there should be a biopic. In my opinion, there should be a biopic for High Five. Who would you imagine hearing Singing lead of the kissing game, I like the way. Never should have let you go. Unconditional love, quality time. She's playing hard to get. Who do you know that can sing those types of songs? To honor Tony Thompson's legacy. Man. X. What city that started with the name of X by except for Xavier? Ain't no telling. Y. Yonkers. Home of the late DMX, followed by D Block / The Locks. That once started off rapping with Puffy until they became Rough Riders. Sad but true, but the music lives on. Chic Lock, Jadakiss, and Styles P and Z. What city do we all know by the name of that starts with the letter Z? Besides Zanesville, but Zanesville never been talked about. See, throughout this whole year, throughout every year, it's the same old story. Like our record's been scratched so many times. Until the record is back to normal, we're in a loop, but a different year. A different year, a different mindset, a different mindset, a different African American, and a different African American, a different milestone. When will I ever achieve my milestones? When I get it on and popping, get involved. Even when it means to stop stalling. Give my YouTube viewers what they want. And thanks to viewers like you, hence a PBS reference, contributions to your local PBS stations from viewers like you, thank you. I would rather be like the next LeVar Burton of Reading Rainbow. I would rather be the next Judge Greg Mathis, the next Tupac Shakur, the next Sam Cooke, the next Bill Russell, the next Jackie Robinson, the next Jim Brown, the next Ozzie Davis, the next Spike Lee, the next Tiger Woods, the next Dave Chappelle, the next Grover Washington Jr., the next Joe Sample, the next Roger Troutman. But all I can do is be me. Taylor Jones. Do good and bad. I really got to understand that Black history is a part of my life. And to make a statement, I am Black history. What about you? Now, that's a lot of things that we have to rely on. And being Black is one thing. As Alfonso Ribeiro once said from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that phrase, man, that slogan, that speech never stopped dwelling in me. Same is true when Jaleel White told Kelly Shaneen Williams that as Steve Urkel, I would demand you to live your life with Stefan because I have to move on. But from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Carlton said this: "You think I'm a sellout? Why? It's because of what I dress and how I live in a house on a hill, or maybe I listen to Barry Manilow. Being Black isn't what I'm trying to be, it's who I am. I'm running the same race and jumping the same hurdles as you, so why are you tripping me up? You said that all Black men need to stick together, but you don't know what that means. So if you ask me, you're the real sellout." Would I say the same thing to the people that call me a sellout? I would, because They don't know what it's like to be black. They don't know what it's like to be successful. They don't know what it's like to be powerful. And because Carlton told his family after he and Will came home that they're not in the fraternity. No, I'm not much of a brother to be a brother. What? Pledge leader say he didn't lost sellouts. You know what? This really frustrates me. I spend my whole life trying to raise a family, and somebody's telling me that there's a penalty to success. So you had to go through the sun. And the main question that everybody needs to learn to ask themselves, when are we going to stop doing this to each other? And when are we going to start learning to be happy to be black? Because black is beautiful, black is bold. Wale taught me that in a rap tune. Black is beautiful, black is bold. Black is gold. Never forget where you come from. Never forget about your black roots. With all that being said, thank you so much for spending your quality time for this long-awaited episode 5 of Cold Man's Winter. And you know how it gets down. This episode has been brought to you by this week's Sweet Lady of the Week. And for this Sweet Lady of the Week, especially for Black History Month, I have to give it to Mrs. Tania Walker. And to Tania Walker, I never forgot about you. So this is a special episode dedicated to you because Black History Month, all female individuals need some attention. And if you like what you're hearing, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the notification bell and there will be more in stores. Until then, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, saying goodbye. Well, I meant to say, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing off. And for Black History Month, power to the people.